Hello. This is Cecil, and today we're going to be talking about the different games and stuff that we have. Originally, I was going to just, show our Steam list while we talked about it, but the capture and stuff isn't working very well, so it's just gonna be a talking stream today. You can see in the corner, a little album thing. That's the music that we are playing today. So, the BGM, that's what that is. Okay, so basically how this is going to work is I'm going to list off the games that we have, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the ones that we've already played, and just kind of mention what the ones that we haven't are about. And so it's not going to be a super long stream, but we do have quite a bit. I'm going to start off with the games that we have on our Steam library, and then go on to itch.io and go to our free library on there, because itch.io basically you make a bunch of different lists, and so we have a paid list for ones that we haven't bought yet, and then we have the free ones, which obviously we can play as soon as we want. So I'll be putting that one, reading off that one instead of the paid ones. I'm then going to go ahead and tell you about the PC games we have, and then maybe if this part doesn't go on too long, I'll talk about some of the games that we need capture cards and stuff for. So games that are on the DS, Wii games, PSP games, Android possibly, Switch games, and then we have some for PS4 and PSVR games too. But those you don't actually need a capture card system for. There's a service that you can go through to be able to stream it to a computer, and then anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today, and I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, also a note, I can't really be watching chat as well today, because it's typically on my second monitor, and we don't have, we can't use that today because I'm using the second monitor for the game wishlist, not game wishlists, game libraries, so I won't be able to actually, be checking that, but I'll try to look back and forth a few times just to make sure I'm not missing anything major. Chat normally isn't super active anyway. I think we have a lot of people in the VOD gang, so we will start off with our Steam games. So let me just go here, and I'm gonna move my monitor just so that I'm not looking to the side the entire time, because that's a little strange. Okay, so first on our wish list is Toto Today, and it is a Otome game, I think. When I'm not sure, I'm just gonna open it up. So yeah, it's a visual novel about figuring out life with the help of an AI, and it's slice of life. There's romance in it. It's very LGBT friendly, so you can pick your pronouns and everything, and this one was free. So if you want to play it, you can. Then we have 12 Hours to Die, which was recommended to us from the fact that we played Danganronpa. So 12 Hours to Die is kind of similar to that kind of game. It's a mystery, and it's a VN, and you're basically a bunch of students, and you're in a killing game of sorts, and you have to kind of figure out the mystery behind it, I guess. And then that one, hold on, let me check if that was... I'll check the prices on these so that you guys can know about them in case you want to get them for yourselves. Yeah, 12 Hours to Die is free, that's what I thought. And then we've got One Bit Heart, and that's a game that we have played before. Bun actually really liked it. I know Gabe also enjoyed it. It's... how do I explain what type of game? It's kind of unique in that it's two-dimensional, but it's a side scroll, but you do a lot in it that is similar to a VN or a platonic Otome game, if that makes sense. So basically you're going and you talk to all these different people, and you have to like become friends with them, and you're also trying to figure out a mystery about this guy that comes in, and yeah, there's a lot of different things that are going into it, and you end up being like a kind of hero of sorts. So this game is paid, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, but it's actually not that expensive. It's $3. Definitely worth it. If you like those kind of games. And then, we actually played it for 30 hours, but we did like all of the things, so it is a pretty long game too, if you want to go the completionist route like we did. Then we have Too Dark, and Too Dark is a it's like a stealth game, and you're basically, it's also a horror game, and you are going around and you're trying to save these kids from very bad people. So that one is $25, and we haven't played it yet, so that's why I haven't said much about it. Then we have A Bird Story, and this one was made by the people who made To the Moon, if you know about that one. I actually haven't played To the Moon, but I've seen some people play it, and one of our favorite songs is actually from the soundtrack, so it's very, very well done. A Bird Story, not a free bird. A Bird Story is a kind of surreal, interactive kind of game. It's RPG like the other ones that the team has made, and it's $4. So yeah, it looks very, very pretty. I will say that they do a really good job with the design on all of their games. Then we have A Hat in Time, and this one has not been really played by us, but we did like start up the game and stuff. We were actually using this game as a tester to see if our PC was good enough to stream games and stuff. So we have like opened it up and started the very, very beginning of it, but we haven't played it. It's a 3D platformer game, and it is very cute. It's an adventure about just this little girl who, she goes through different worlds and stuff, and she's trying to, I think she's like going through time, obviously, because that's what the name is called. Yeah, and that one was a gift, but it's 30. It's 30 on Steam. Obviously, you can get some of these games on different platforms and stuff, but these are just the prices that Steam has listed, so I'm sure you can get them for other amounts elsewhere, but for Steam, that's what these ones cost. Next, we have A Little Lily Princess, and this one I believe is free. Oh, no, it's not. It's $15. I don't remember buying that one, that's weird. Maybe we got it on one of our sale bundles. Anyway, so it's about this girl, and she arrives at a boarding school, and she kind of has to figure out what's happening, and she is building new relationships and stuff like that. I think there is some romance in it, and I think it's GL, if I'm, yeah, it's romance and friendship between different girls. Yeah, okay. I think there was a little bit of a mystery to this one too, if I remember correctly, but I'm not positive. Then we have A Long Road Home, and A Long Road Home is, I'm pretty sure it's a shorter one, but it's an RPG Maker game. It is $2, and it's basically about, it's pretty classical as far as RPG games go. It's very similar to like the whole fantasy vibe and that kind of stuff. You're a hero and you're trying to do puzzles and stuff like that, so it's like your typical little adventure RPG. Then we have A Mortician's Tale, and this one is point and click, I think. And it's just this cute little cozy game where you play a mortician and you run a little funeral home in it. It's also short. It's a shorter one, and it's $10. Then we have A Pinch of Magic, which is an otome game, I believe. Yeah, you are basically in a modern world, and you can choose your character. I think there's a male or female, and you can choose like what pronouns and stuff that you go by. There's different love interests, so that you can like pick from, I think. And then you're basically trying to save your grandparents' cafe, and you also like meet these people that you may or may not fall in love with. It's also like a little magic shop, so there's magic and stuff involved, so it looks really cute. It is free to play. Then we've got A Raven Monologue, and I know this game is definitely a short one. It's free, and it's basically a little experimental type game, is what they list it as, and it's about a raven and his relationship with people in the town. It's caught our eye for the art style is really cool. It's like, it's got this like sketchy, kind of like almost hand-drawn kind of vibe, and so the art style is what really drew us to it. Then we have the prologue for A Space for the Unbound. I don't think we have the actual full game, but it's a slice of life adventure game, and it has cute little pixel art. It's about overcoming a lot of mental illness stuff and the relationship between people. I know one of the characters has powers or something like that, and yeah, it seemed really interesting to us, but we only have the demo for that, so we'll probably wait until we get the full game to kind of add on to it, if that makes sense. Like, we'll probably have the prologue, do the prologue, and then in the same stream we'll move on to the rest of it. But the prologue is free if you want to check it out. Then we have Adolescent Santa Claus, and this is a free-to-play game. I think it's a visual novel. Yeah, it's a visual novel, and it's about this, it's about the Santa Claus figure, but instead of it being your typical Santa Claus that we kind of all know, it's this cute little anime girl, and you get to meet her and talk with her and stuff. Then we've got Air, I think is how you pronounce it, Memories of Old. It's spelled A-E-R, and it's very similar to, if you've ever seen Sky, Children of the Light, that's a game that we've actually played, and Air is kind of similar to that in style, where you are someone who can transform into a bird, and the graphics are really beautiful and pixelated, and then you kind of go through different little islands in the sky, and you have to go through different ruins and discover secrets and stuff like that. This game is, well, right now it's on sale. Right now it's on sale for $150, so $150. If you that sounds interesting to you, you can probably catch that sale. Yeah, the offer ends in like 3 days. But normally it is priced at $15. So good sale right now. You should, if you're interested, you should check it out now. Then we have Aimi, I think is how you pronounce it, A-I-M-I. And it's a RPG game. It's horror based, and it has a darker story. You kind of travel through memories and stuff. I know there's a lot of puzzles involved, and it's free to play. Then there's Alice Mare, and Alice Mare is a game that we've played through already. So Alice Mare is kind of this take on Alice in Wonderland, and it stars this little boy, and he lives in an orphanage, but then his teacher goes missing, and he's kind of transported into this fantasy world where he has to try and figure things out alongside the different characters who represent different fairy tales. It's a very cool game. It's darker and it's listed with horror, but it's not too scary if you're not into like super gory stuff and everything. I don't think it really had much of that. and it's also a mystery game, and yeah, you play as Alan, I think is the main character's name. It's a very, very good game. I definitely recommend it. And that one is $3. It took us no, not 4.5, it's 4.2, so about 4 hours to complete. And then we have Alone, and this is an RPG game where you're trying to help someone who is trapped inside of his house with this like suspicious person lurking around. It is $1 if you buy the Steam edition, or free if you buy the other one, I guess. There's like 2 different versions of it. Then we have Always Sometimes Monsters, and this one is, at first we thought it was going to be majorly like horror based, but I don't think that's actually the case. It's an RPG game, and it has very good graphics and everything. Basically, it's about a bunch of different people who they're kind of figuring out their life and trying to make choices, and it's very decision heavy based game. I know that it's very much based on different decisions and stuff. I know there is I think there might be some customization there, but yeah, it's really, I think, mostly slice of life based, so it's about making lots of decisions that impact how you interact with the world and the people around you. That one is $10. Then we have Among the Sleep, and we have the enhanced edition now, but we didn't used to have the enhanced edition. We had the original version the first time that it came out, and that is the one that we had originally. Like, that's the one that we played through. So we used the original. We played through the original Among the Sleep fully, but they've enhanced it since then, and I think they might have added a little bit of content. It's a first-person horror game where you play as a toddler, actually, and you kind of go through this world with a teddy bear that's leading you, and there's a monster that's kind of going after you, and you have to travel through these different little worlds and figure out puzzles, and you're trying to find your mom. Then there is Anne, and Anne is a free-to-play game, I think. Yeah, it's free. And it is about a girl, and it's an RPG game again. We definitely like RPGs, so there's a lot of those on this list. Basically, she is at school, and she accidentally breaks one of the school rules, which is, I think, like, she stays too late at the school. You're not allowed to stay at night, and so she accidentally stays over too long, and she has to navigate this horror world that her school turns into at night. Then there's Anna's Quest, and this one is about a little girl, and she has telekinesis. She goes through this like dark fantasy world, and she's kind of, I think she's traveling somewhere, but I haven't played through it, so I don't know the full story. But I know there's lots of dark fantasy elements and stuff in it, and I think it might be point and click, but I'm not positive. Yeah, it's point and click. This one is also on a big sale right now. Right now it's $2, but normally it's $20. Then there's Ark, the Lost Fairy Tale. This is an RPG maker game again. It's about a little girl, and she's trying to find her stuffed rabbit in this giant mansion place. It has some horror elements in it, and you have to solve a lot of puzzles and stuff, it looks like. You have to go through puzzles that are based on fairy tales too, so that's why it's called like the Lost Fairy Tale, because they're based on different stories that are like that. Then we have Ashina, the Red Witch, and we only have the prologue for this one. The prologue is free. It's listed separately from the actual game, though. So it doesn't... Let's see if I can see it down here in the more like this. Yeah, I'm not sure how much the actual game costs, but it's about a girl, and she takes a journey through the spirit world, so it's, like, I'm pretty sure it's based on, I was thinking it's based on some kind of, it's definitely based on, like Asian culture. I think it might be Chinese mythology stuff about the spirit world. Don't completely quote me on that, though. It might be Japanese, but, yeah, it doesn't specifically list it. But she's basically going through this spirited world, and she's trying to make her way back home before she is found by one of the monsters. Then we have the At Home Alone trilogy, I guess you would call it. There's basically At Home Alone, and then At Home Alone 2, and At Home Alone Final. And we have all of them. We have played At Home Alone, just the original first one, but we haven't played the other ones yet. It's about this girl who is, obviously she's left home alone, she's a little girl, and it seems like it's cute, but I will tell you right off the bat that it's not cute. There's lots of horror involved. It kind of takes that Doki Doki Literature Club approach where it looks like this cute little pink nice game, but there are lots of secrets to it, so definitely check it out if you're a fan of that kind of thing. It's an RPG game and it's free to play. I highly recommend it as long as you're okay with psychological horror and that kind of thing. I think there's warnings and stuff in the description if you need them. Then there's Aurora, A Child's Journey, and this one is a nice little short one. It is a 3D game, and it's third person, and you play as this little girl named Aurora, and she's going through her village, and she like lives on the water, I think, in this village place, and she's kind of trying to find out what's happening with it. It's very like story based, and she's trying to figure out why there's a fire like that has started in her village, and it's from a child's perspective, so there's a lot of imagination and kind of surreal metaphorical stuff in it, I believe. It is free to play. Then we have Awareness Rooms, and Awareness Rooms is another RPG game. It does have a little bit of a different style to it, though. Most RPG games a lot of times are top down, but this one is like facing. Like it faces where the character is at. It's called Awareness Rooms, and it's this girl. She finds herself in a place that she doesn't recognize, and she has to kind of explore. It's a very exploration-based game where you have to kind of raise your awareness of what's going on in the room by checking things out and exploring things, and then the room will come more into focus, and you can try and find your way out of this mysterious little place. It is $5. Then we have Back to Bed, which is a little surreal puzzle kind of game. It's basically you're guiding this sleepwalker, and you are trying to get him back to bed, but I forget what the actual visuals are called on this, but it's like these weird little rooms that are like actually impossible, and there's a bunch of like transporty things and stuff. I believe you're playing as like this little like dog-like, cat-like kind of creature, but you're like a creature. You're not an actual animal, and you're just trying to guide him away from any of the dangers that his mind makes up and get him back to bed. And this one is also on sale. Right now it's $1.19, and normally it's $6. Then we have the Bad Dream games, and we only have 2 of them right now. We have Bad Dream Coma and Bad Dream Fever. And these are point-and-click games where it's like there's not much color to them. So it's like they're like sketched out almost with black, and then sometimes there's like a pop of like red in it. They are point-and-click horror games, and you are basically traveling through these surreal dreamland type places, and I don't think that you can actually die in them, but you can have like consequences and stuff, and yeah, it's just this little like point-and-click horror game series. I know there's others in the series that we don't have, so Bad Dream Coma is normally $9, but it's on sale for under $1 right now, so that's cool. And then Bad Dream Fever is normally $10. It's $10 right now, too. Bad Dream Fever has more of this inky kind of vibe, I think. I mean, both games have an inky vibe, but Bad Dream Fever, I think, Bad Dream Coma has a lot of that, like, popping red blood kind of thing, but Bad Dream Fever has a lot of this, like, ink spilling out into the dream and stuff, so they're both in, like, the same kind of style and stuff. I wonder if Fever has, like, a different, plot. Yeah, your world is, like, covered in ink, and there's a plague, and you're trying to get rid of this ink, which is, like, manifestations of very bad things. Then we have BU, and BU2 is price-wise. Yeah, both of them are free, and they're interactive visual novels. The first one, you have a character, and she develops, or I don't really know what your character, I think they might be a girl, but, you basically make decisions, and your choices will develop your character's personality, and then there's a few different choices to make, and different lines of dialogue, and stuff like that. Then the other one, you are raising a child, and the story choices change how your kid develops into a person. I think there's a lot of, like, little surreal kind of dreamcore-esque vibes to that one. Man, we're only in the B's. This is gonna be a longer stream than I was expecting, but that's okay. I don't mind talking. You need a drink though. Oh. We're kind of coming off of sickness still, so if my voice sounds a little bit scratchy, that's why. It doesn't really hurt or anything, but not anymore anyway. But it's definitely not super comfortable. Anyway, let's get on to the next game, which is called Bedtime Blues. And this is about a kid, and it's a first-person horror game where you're trying to survive the night as this little kid, and his imagination kind of runs wild, and I think the main antagonists are like toys and stuff that are around his room. This one is $10. Then we have Blade of Acrimony, and this one is a free-to-play RPG game where you take control of this sword, and you kind of, or you are a character, but she like finds this sword and stuff, and she kind of goes on this downward spiral after she gets it, I believe. And so she is this knight, and she kind of goes down a dark horror kind of path. I believe it's mostly psychological though. This one has actual RPG elements and stuff in it. I know a lot of RPG Maker games, sometimes they won't actually have the RPG battle elements to them, but this one does have those. And it's free to play, in case I didn't mention that already. Then we have Burn Me Twice, which is... I was gonna say it was an RPG Maker game, but it is not. It's a puzzle game, and you are playing as... Oh yeah, okay, I think it's about like witch trials, and so you are investigating this strange little town, and you have to figure out like where the evil magic is coming from and stuff. It is a free-to-play game, and it's 3D. I think it's 3D. Yeah, hold on, let me see. Yeah, so yeah, you are playing as the witch who is avoiding being prosecuted by the Inquisition, and so you're trying to solve the crimes yourself, yeah. Alright, cool. And then... yeah, I know, we have so many games that sometimes it's hard to remember what all of them are about, so... a couple games might mess me up here and there. Then there's Captive, which is another RPG horror game. It's $2, and it's about a woman, and she wakes up in this cell. She doesn't have any of her memories, and she is trying to escape while also figuring out who she is, where her memories went, and all that kind of stuff. Well, then we have Carrion, the villain in this one, and you are this creature that people have captured, scientists have captured, and you are going to stalk and consume them, basically. You are trying to eat the space people and the scientists. Your goal is literally just to murder people, basically, as a monster. That one is $20. Then there's Case Zero, the Cannibal Boy, and this is a visual novel, and this one actually has a lot of other ones to it. Basically they have like case 1, case 2, extra cases, all that good stuff. So while we have this one, but we might also add some of the other ones in there if we enjoy the first one, which I believe this one is the first one because it's case 0, you know. It's a visual novel, and it's a psychological kind of horror game where you're trying to solve the case. Then we've got Cat in the Box. And Cat in the Box in a big mansion, this like dark mansion that she finds, and she's trying to escape from entities that are following her. So you have to use tools and do puzzles and that kind of stuff to try and get through what's happening. This game is $7. Then we have Cattails, and this one has cats. You are a cat, and you are basically, I think it's similar to like warrior cats, if that makes sense. So you have to fight other cats from other clans, you have to hunt, you have to explore and get food and medicine and that kind of stuff. You can raise like kittens and befriend other cats in it. So yeah, it's kind of similar to how Warriors is with this clan of cats that you play in. That one is $15. Then we have Children of Silent Town, and we only have the prologue for this one, I think. I think we only have the prologue. Yeah, we only have the prologue, but we're gonna get the rest of the game, too. So, the prologue to this, obviously, is a lead up to the actual Children of Silent Town game. And it's this darker kind of game where you play as a girl, and her name's Lucy. She is at this village, and she lives there where you're kind of surrounded by a forest that has a bunch of monsters. People start disappearing and stuff, and they say that it's because of the monsters, but Lucy kind of doesn't trust this, and so she's trying to figure out what's actually going on. this is a point-and-click game. And oh, the prologue is no longer available in the store, but I believe it was free. Oh, that's why we got the prologue. Okay, so the prologue was published first, and now Children of Silent Town is actually out. So, that makes sense. Alright, cool. So yeah, we'll have to get the actual game. The actual game is $14. Then we have Claire, and Claire is a kind of side-scrolling game, I believe. Yeah, it's a side-scroller, where it's horror, and she's alone, and I believe it's an apocalyptic kind of world. She's trying to get away from the dangers and stuff, and she has her dog with her. She has to kind of conquer her fears and find her mom, and she comes across other people while she's exploring. I believe she's like a teenager in this game too, but I'm not positive. I think she's just like this teenage girl in an apocalypse with her dog. Oh, I forgot to check price on that one. Hold on a second. That one's 10. Then you can get Clay Game. And Clay Game was free. Okay, so we saw it and we went, huh? You play as this clay wizard man dude, and it's a 3D game, I believe, and you go around and you are trying to solve puzzles and figure out a mystery, and everything is made out of clay, so it has like it's like the game looks like it's made out of clay, the whole entire thing, all the characters, everything. And then there's like this weird fox guy, and there's like elves and goblins. I don't know, we thought it looked very interesting, and the reviews were really good, so we have that on our list. Then we have Close Your Eyes, and we have the old version. The old version is free, but you can also get the remake. The remake, let me see how much the remake is. The remake is $9. Right now it's early access, so yeah, we have the old version of it, and it's where this little hooded guy is exploring a dark little world, and so you like escape death row, and you found yourself in this weird, dark, horrifying little place. It's RPG, and there's traps and puzzles and all that kind of stuff that you have to get through. I believe, yeah, there's multiple endings, and a lot of secrets and stuff that you can find in that one. Oh no. Oh no, I clicked out of Steam. Hold on a second. I didn't mean to do that. Let me see. Here. Profile. Games. Come on. I gotta get back to where we were in the list. Sorry, guys. Not recently played, I want all of them. Yeah, there we go. Because most of the games have not been played by us yet. Sort by name, and then we go down, and we find, okay, there we are. So then we have Code Vein, and this is a multiplayer game, I believe. I think so. I think it's multiplayer. Yeah, you can team up with either like AIs, or you can be with a friend. So it's a co-op multiplayer game where I don't know what you would refer to them as, but you know, like games that are like Genshin, that kind of thing, where you're embarking on like an actual story journey, but it's like kind of open world and stuff like that. That's basically what Code Vein is, and so you are trying to escape from your past and escape what's happening, and there's a bunch of monsters and stuff in the world that you have to defeat. It looks like very complex, but it has a lot of like battling and stuff like that of the monsters. That one is $60. We got ours on a major sale, I know that, because that's real expensive, but you can also get the demo, and the demo is free to download. We have the actual game, though. And then we have Coffin of Ashes, and Coffin of Ashes is another horror RPG game. I'm seeing that, a lot of us have just put a lot of these kind of games in there. This one is $7, and it's about a girl. She's just this little schoolgirl, and she finds an old mansion while it's raining. I think she goes in, like, originally to get away from the bad weather, and as she explores this mansion, she finds that there's, like, a lot of mysteries, and there's a lot of creepy things that are happening, so she has to figure out what is hidden in this mansion. Then we have Cooking Companions, we have the Appetizer Edition, which I believe it's either a smaller version or it's a prologue. It is self-contained, I know that. And we definitely want the rest of Cooking Companions too. We want the full game for it. But it's another game that looks really cute, but it's not cute. You are playing, it's a visual novel of sorts, but there's like choices and actual like paths and stuff that you can go down, and you are playing hide and seek with these little food characters, but it's not cute. Like it's psychologically horrifying, but it has this really cute little aesthetic and stuff to it. So I'm not exactly sure where the horror comes in actually, because they try to make it look pretty cute and then leave some little anonymous tips in there. So this version is free to play, and then you can also get the actual Cooking Companions game, which is $15. And then there's also a fan pack for it, and I'm not sure what that one does. It's a DLC, I know that. Oh, it has like the soundtrack and the concept art and stuff in it, that makes sense. Okay. Then we've got Corpse Party. And I'm not going to go over every single one of these, but there's a lot of them. They have, on this one, we have the Corpse Party, just the normal PC kind of version. It's the Steam version. I think this is also the PSP version, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have Corpse Party Blood Drive, Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Corpse Party Book of Shadows is kind of this, it's like an off sequel kind of, and then Blood Drive is the actual sequel to Corpse Party, and then there's Corpse Party Sweet Sachiko's Hysteric Birthday Bash, and that one is another sequel, but it mostly gives lore and stuff. And then there's Corpse Party 2 Dead Patient, which is not in the universe of Corpse Party. I mean, I think it's in the same world as Corpse Party, but it's not like the same setting or anything. It's not the same characters. That one isn't completely out yet, I know that. We only have like the first 2 chapters. And we've played all of these, but we definitely want to play them on stream, because this is probably, like, if I look at everybody, this is probably like the favorite out of the most of people. Like, a lot of us really like this series. I don't mind this series. I'm not a huge fan of playing horror games, honestly, but I do like RPG games, so I enjoyed Corpse Party, but I think most of the others probably enjoyed it a little more. They also have the Corpse Party 2021 edition, which we want to get and play too. Speaking of Corpse Party, this is actually on our PC games list, but it's not on Steam. We also have the Corpse Party PC 98, and that is a remake of the very, very, very original Corpse Party. And you'll want to play that if you're going to play it. It's free, but you want to play that after you've played the main game. The main game is just the normal Corpse Party, called the Back to School Edition. It has updated graphics and some extra endings and things that you can play through. That one will obviously have to wait for a capture card, and those are really hard to get, so I'm not sure if we'll actually be able to stream it for you guys, but I know a lot of us would like to. Then we have Crimson Light, and Crimson Light is a free-to-play game. It's horror, and it's an RPG again. you are basically in this nice little isolated village, but then she wakes up and she finds that her sister is like gone, and there's a lot of like death and bad things that are happening in her village, a lot of carnage, and she's trying to figure out what happened, as well as trying to... We have Cult of the Glitch King, and for some reason I always want to call this Cult of the Gulch King. I genuinely don't know why. It makes no sense, but no, it's called Cult of the Glitch King, and it's an RPG Maker game where you do a lot of puzzles. I think there's some stealth elements, and it is this occult sci-fi kind of game. You're basically trying to... It honestly doesn't have much like information about the game itself. I know you play as a couple of different characters, I believe. And so you are trying to avoid enemies and utilize traps and get out of your situation alive. And since it says cult in the name, I'm guessing there is a major cult plot and stuff included. It's $3. Next we have Cyberpunk, and, well, Cyberpunk 2077. It's an open world game, and you are in this like dark dystopian kind of world, and it's obviously cyberpunk, it's in the name. It's basically, you're in this metropolis and there's a lot of corruption and obsession with things. There's lots of body mods, that kind of stuff. I know you can like completely customize your character and everything for this one, and it's, I think if I didn't say it already, it's open world, and you're playing as a mercenary, and so you're trying to fight for survival and improve yourself and take on jobs, build up your reputation with other people. I know you can make relationships, and that has a major part in the story. This one is $60. Then we've got Dab on Darkness, and it is a non-linear visual novel where you learn about the real world and learn tactics and stuff to deal with your mental darkness, I guess. You have to make decisions to try and fight against mind. And basically, oh, I should probably, hold on a minute. Okay, I'll get through this one and then I'll check chat because it's been a while. So you have to, like, make decisions on how to combat, like, that darkness, but the darkness of your mind turns into an anime girl. And so you're actually, like, going against an anime girl, but she is your dark thoughts. She is your mental illness as an anime girl. And that one is, it's $1. It's half off right now though, so it's 50 cents. And let me just check chat real quick. I'll check chat like every 4 letters, every 3 letters that we get through on this list, since it's very long. I'll check through chat and make sure of things. Okay, so we do have a couple questions. Okay, so yeah, Corpse Party 2021 is different than the normal Corpse Party. It adds a couple characters in it, and I know there's updated graphics. I think there might be some extra, like, the extra chapters, I think they might have more of those. They might have some more endings and some more, like, deaths and stuff. I don't think the story changes, though. I think it's the same story, but I don't know where, like, the other 2 characters would fit in for that. Yeah, that's basically the difference, I think. Is the addition of those 2 characters and plus some extra little content in there. Alright, let's go back to this list. Alright, so then we have the main 3 Danganronpa games. I know there's also, Despair Girls? Despair Girls, I think is the name of it. And there's also, the summer thing, the summer expansion thing that they put out recently. But we have Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, 2, which is Goodbye Despair, and then V3, which is Killing Harmony. And we've played through all of those. They're definitely longer games, and I'll check the prices for you guys. But it's basically it's like a trial game, so you're in this killing school, and there's like this bear, his name is Monokuma, and he's basically making this place into a thing where you have to kill each other to be able to escape, and you play as different characters in each different game, and you are trying to figure out how to escape, and as well as solving each mystery that happens. So you have to have these trials where the murderer has to be figured out, and you have to investigate and go through that kind of stuff. And in Goodbye Despair, I believe, is the one that they have some other little elements in there, like a little friendship simulator and stuff. So the first Danganronpa, is Trigger Happy Havoc, and that one is $20. Then you have the second one, which is Goodbye Despair, and that one is also $20. And then V3 Killing Harmony is $40, so it's more expensive than the other ones. There's also a bundle that you can get that has all of those 3, and I think that's what we bought. But there's also, let me see, let me make sure the ones that I mentioned are the only ones. Yeah, there's Ultra Despair Girls, which I mentioned. And then there's, which is like another episode, it branches off. And then there is the summer one, which doesn't look like it's on Steam actually, but I know that it's on the Switch right now. But it looks like the summer version is not. They also have a demo version of V3, but I would say not to play the demo before you play the other ones. I don't know why they would release a demo of V3 but not for the others, but yeah, they have a demo version of V3 if you want to play that. I would definitely obviously recommend that you play 1 and 2 first before you go on to the demo of 3, but that one's free, if 3 is one that you're interested in. Then we have Dark Deception, which is a first-person horror maze game. So you're in a maze, and I know at least the first level kind of takes off on this Pac-Man kind of thing. It's very unique. So you are trying to collect crystals, and you have to go through this maze every time. And so there's different levels, and there's different enemies, and these enemies, obviously, they have different issues and stuff with them, and different powers. And there's different settings in all of them. You're trapped in this world, and you have to go through the mazes. And I don't know if all of them, I don't know if you have to collect crystals in every single one of the levels, or if there are different things to do. But I know I watched Markiplier play through the first one. And so, yeah, we have the first one. And then there's other ones that you can get. So we have the complete version on our wish list, but we do have Chapter 1 right now. Chapter 1 is free to get. And then there's Chapter 2, 3, 4, and then there's the complete one, which, if you get the complete one, I think they're, like, still consistently uploading it, like, updating it, so you can get all of the DLCs from then on, I think, is basically what that deal is. Let me go back. Okay. And then we have Dark, but it's spelled D-A-R-Q. And it is a 3D game, I think. I think it's 3D. It might be 2D. I know the graphics are 3D, but you might only be able to, like, walk one way? It's similarly built like how Little Nightmare is. It's about this guy, and he's in a lucid nightmare, so he isn't able to wake up, and he has to face his fears and decipher kind of the meaning of the game and go through puzzles to try and escape his dream. This one is $20 normally, but it's on sale for $10 right now. there must be a big Steam sale or something happening right now. I never know when these things happen, and I always get so sad because I miss them. So I might have to check this out and actually buy some extras. But I don't know. We got a lot to play through. Should wait. Maybe. Alright, next is Death in Progress, and we're back to the RPG Maker horror games. This one is very sci-fi based, and she wakes up, not the girl that you play as, wakes up and she doesn't know where she's at. She's in this like scientific kind of facility, and she finds out that in order to keep going, she has to die. So you have to have like multiple deaths in order to progress through the game. And obviously she like after she dies, she like comes back basically. And so you have to die in order to progress, depending on what the puzzles and stuff are. And obviously you're trying to escape this place and make your way out. But yeah, I thought the dying aspect was super interesting. I thought that was really cool. Then, well, I don't know if I checked the price on that, so I'll go back and say it real quick. It's $3. I didn't already mention that. Then we have Decay the Mayor. And so this game is about, he's an addict, and he is at this institution to try and get over his addiction. And he is trying to sort things out, but he finds out that this place isn't exactly what it seems. So something goes wrong, and he figures out that this place isn't actually good, so now he has to try and escape and figure out what's going on and get away from this place that he's been trapped in. Essentially trapped in. I mean, he checked in, but they won't let him check out. This is a $5 game, but right now it's on sale for less than $1. So then we have Deep Night Detective, and we have chapter 1 of this. I believe there's either are other chapters or there's just one right now. I'm not positive. But basically you play as this little detective character, and it's a I think it's considered like a Metroidvania type game. And so it's like all in this one color, pretty much. It's like got a lot of purplish maroon kind of tones in it, and you are a detective who's going around at night, and you're trying to kind of figure out things that are happening and fight against this demon that has caused people to go missing and stuff like that. This one is free to play too. Then we have Detective Grimoire, Secret of the Swamp, and this is a little investigation game where you are investigating a murder in this little like touristy attraction kind of town. You're trying to figure out kind of what's happening, obviously, and this town is based on like a mythical creature in the swamps, but you're trying to figure out like the real truth. You're trying to figure out what's actually happening here. Is it a monster? Is it actually like a murder? That kind of thing. So a lot of investigation based on it, and solving puzzles, looking for clues, that kind of stuff. I believe it is a point and click. But like you have to figure out a lot of stuff with it, so it's not just like clicking and that kind of thing. It's like you have to actually have dialogue between the characters in the town and stuff like that. Okay, you're getting banned, what the fuck? Hold on a second, sorry about that. It's the first time I've had to do this, sorry. Definitely remove through all these. Eat that shit. People like that are not welcome here. Just putting that out there. I don't know why you would even come here. Go through, delete these. Okay. They shouldn't be able to comment anymore, I don't think. But, let me just make sure. Oh, nice. There's also porn on the image. That's great. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Thanks. Sorry, about that. Thank you for being patient and being chill. Yeah, I also reported it and everything, so hopefully that gets taken down. Okay. Sorry about that. Don't know where that came from, but that sucks. Hannah! Hello! Yeah, you didn't see it, but we just got, spammed by someone with a very bad name and very NSFW profile picture. But yeah, that's taken care of, so I'll go back to talking about the games. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this place, like, chill. I wasn't expecting that to be on our little tiny channel, but, yeah, we got rid of it, so good enough. Alright. Let's see. I'm sorry, I, like, got completely, like, discombobulated from that. What was I talking about? I was talking about Detective Grimoire. Okay. And I think I said everything about that game except for the price. The price is $7. So. Then we have Dinner with an Owl. And Dinner with an Owl is this little... Oh, my model's not tracking either. Okay, hold on. Because I was looking down, trying to deal with that. Okay, cool. We're back. So Dinner with an Owl is a little short, surreal kind of point-and-click horror game where you are playing as this guy who, an owl man, I believe, comes to his house and wants to have dinner. And that's honestly, like, almost the full extent that I know about this. It's like, you're going to dinner with an owl man, and you didn't decide to go to this dinner, like, you didn't choose it. I'm not really sure how you get there, but I think he hypnotized you or something to get you there. And now he wants to have dinner with you. But you have to escape. It's a free game. And it just sounded really interesting. Like, it's an owl man. And you're forced to go to dinner with him. I don't know what else to say about that one. It's free if you want to pick it up, and I know it's shorter, it's very surreal. Obviously, even by just the information about it, it sounds very interesting. So. Then we have Disillusions, which is a manga horror. I believe it's a type of visual novel, and basically you are playing as, people, and you're two friends, and you are, I think you're investigators. I gotta look more into this one though. Yeah, you are investigators, and you are trying to, like, explore this mystery place, and there used to be, like, a murderer that lived there, and yeah, it's basically just like a VN, I think. But at the same, it's not fully a VN though. Like, it's mostly a VN, but it has, like, real life environment stuff. so it like looks like real actual graphics that you're going through. It's $1. Honestly, I'm not quite positive what's happening like with it. I think we just saw it and we're like, hey, why not? The art style looks interesting. I think it's also like the mix between the little visual novel stuff, but also the normal horror element, like Unity kind of textures and stuff were also interesting with it, so. Then we have Doki Doki Literature Club, and we played through the normal version, and we want to get the plus version for our actual playthrough on the channel, because obviously it has more content and upgraded graphics and everything like that. But Doki Doki Literature Club, it presents itself as this cute little visual novel romance game. It's not. It is a psychological horror game, and I will leave it at that because the horror elements of it really are the big turning point and stuff in the game, so I don't want to give too much away. It's a very, very good one though. I definitely recommend it. Doki Doki Literature Club, the normal version is actually free on Steam, so that's very cool. Then we have Don't Be Afraid, the first toy. And so this is actually a game series. I don't know if they have multiple, but I know they have Don't Be Afraid, which is just a normal one. But this is a introduction / prologue to the game Don't Be Afraid, and you play as a first-person horror game, and you play as a boy who gets kidnapped by this evil psychopathic person. So you have to explore and try and find your way out and escape from this place. And I believe as the title says, it says the first toy, and I believe that means you're like the first victim of this guy. And then the second one obviously expands a lot more on the story and that kind of stuff. The Don't Be Afraid, the first toy, that one is free, and then the main game is $10, but it's on sale for $5 right now. Then we've got Dreaming Sarah, and Dreaming Sarah is an adventure platformer game, and it's about a girl and she's in a coma, so she's exploring this surreal little dream world around her, and she has to try and wake up from her coma. This one is $6. Then we just have Dumb Treasure. It's just called Dumb Treasure, and it's free to play. You're using this remote-controlled robot, and you're going like under the bed, and you're trying to find a treasure. And the mechanics just looked very interesting on this one. I mean, you're like using cameras, and you're moving around this little robot guy, and it's point and click, but it's listed as dark and atmospheric and stuff, so I'm very interested to see what this one is going to be about, but it's called Dumb Treasure. It's also a short game, and it's free to play. Alright, now that we got to a new letter, I'm gonna check chat after a new letter, just now I'm paranoid about stuff that's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna like check through it quickly. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to play Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. It probably won't specifically be me, Cecil. My guess would probably be, like, either Gabby or Bun or someone like that, but we are very excited to be able to play that one too. Then we have Empty Soul S&S Edition, which I'm not sure what the S&S Edition means, but it takes you into this story where this scientist girl has a very bad accident, and now she's trying to escape from this laboratory kind of place. It's horror, and it's another RPG Maker game. It is $7. Then there's Error 143. Error, not Arrow, sorry. Error 143. And it is a visual novel. It is a dating sim. And it's like an enemies to lovers thing. So I believe you're like hackers. You're like rival hackers or something. And you eventually fall in love with this guy that you're like going up against. This one is free to play, so. Next up is Eva Reigns. Eva Reigns, but it's spelled Eva and then R-E-Y-N-E-S, so I'm not positive that I'm pronouncing that right. It's a detective game, and you are trying to kind of banish what has happened in your past and have revenge and self-redemption kind of stuff. And so you are, I believe you're still trying to figure out like a mystery and stuff though. So she actually she left the whole detective industry, and so she's coming back to try and save her apprentice. But then she finds out that this might be connected to some bad stuff that happened in her past, so there's like extra levels and stuff to that. This one is $10, but right now it's on sale for $2. Then we have Eve of Souls Static Pod. This is another RPG Maker game, and there's honestly not a whole lot of information about this one. It is in early access right now, and it's $3. It's right now on sale for less than $1. And it's kind of non-traditional, and you are like playing as this young girl and trying to survive and do puzzles and go against these monsters. That's literally like it. It genuinely doesn't have like more information about it. The description is literally just, the pod will break soon. Will she survive the nightmare or find the truth? So I have no idea what the full game is actually about, but it seemed interesting, so we bought it. We're a sucker when it comes to horror RPG Maker games, as you can probably tell by all the ones that we have so far. Alright, let me just chat real quick. Yeah, okay, cool. And then Fae Fever is our next one. This is about a journalist, and she's trying to find her missing brother in this creepy small town that is... Oh, it's a missing brother and a sister. I don't know if they're her brother and sister, but you are trying to find them. And so you're trying to find these missing people in a little small town, and there's something sinister going on. As you interview the citizens and get to know things more, you kind of unfold the mystery and try to figure things out. The style is very similar to Tim Burton's style, and then it's point and click for the game base, and this one's free to play. So, yep. Then we have Fallen, and Fallen is a platformer game where it's like black and white, but like other colors come in, like, but it's black and white, and then like some other colors will be in the background, like there might be a green background or a blue background and stuff like that, but it's mostly a black and white, like shadowy kind of game. And then you're playing as a father, and you have to fight against these monsters to try and save your missing son. He like fell down into this cave of monsters, and so you're trying to rescue him. This one is $2. Is a visual novel kind of game, and it seems like it's going to be like very sweet and cute at first, but it's also listed under like violence and that kind of thing, so I think it has that kind of a twist to it. I know you're in a hidden garden place, and you're kind of entering this dreamlike world and that kind of thing. So it's a linear visual novel. I'm gonna look a little bit more into the information, just because that was what I remember from it. So it's a linear visual novel, and It has elements of traditional storytelling and modern components of dark fantasy and psychological thriller. So, yeah, it definitely mixes the dark stuff in there. Her dreams are somehow related to the Fire of Collapse, which is a mysterious disaster that happened 10 years ago, where flames rain from the sky, and how does it connect to her ultimate goal? So, yeah, I thought that one was, it sounds a little bit convoluted, but also very, very interesting as far as the story goes. So, that one is free. I'm gonna butcher this name. This one is called Faust's Alptrom. It is, I believe, French, hence why I cannot pronounce it. And it has English, like, translation and stuff in it, but the title is in French, I believe. And it's spelled F-A-U-S-T-S space A-L-P-T-R-A-U-M, if you want to look it up. It's similar in style to, like, Frambo, or like Little Misfortune, but it is an RPG maker game. It's horror again, but the art style and stuff is reminiscent of those games. You are playing as a girl who is in a world that was drawn by crayons, and she has to kind of figure out what is real and what is a dream. So you're trying to kind of figure out what's happening and how her dreams relate to what's really happening. She can't tell if things are real or fake, and so you have to try and discover that stuff. And so she has to try to avoid being trapped at the same time as kind of trying to escape from this dream slash reality. It's like they're intermixing. This one is free to play too. Then we have Feast Your Eyes, and this is a little 3D game where you play as a Reaper-esque character. And so you are, I believe this one is, I think this one is related to Close Your Eyes. Yeah, it definitely is. Yes, so this is the sequel to the other one that we talked about earlier. So, Feast Your Eyes is takes place after the game of Close Your Eyes. And so you are the murderer person, and now you are in a real life, but you start receiving these creepy love letters and stuff. So you're trying to figure out what happened and what is happening, as well as trying to kind of go away from your past as a death row inmate for all your murderous tendencies and stuff. Next is Feel the Snow, and I believe this is early access, but it might not be anymore. Okay, it's not early access. It was early access when we first got it, I believe. And it is this little game where you play as a snow creature, and it's a sandbox game. So, but it also has like a storyline. It's a storyline game with a sandbox in it. You are basically going on a journey, and you have to build and craft and do puzzles and fight bosses and do quests and mysteries and stuff like that. So there is a whole storyline and a system and everything, but there are sandbox elements where, you know, you're crafting materials and weapons, and you take care of your own little house, like you build your own house and stuff in it. I believe it was made through RPG Maker. That's what it looks like it was made on. But it's very interesting. It's like cute little pixelated graphics and stuff. So this one really caught our eye. It is $10. Next we have Figment, and Figment is this super surreal game. It is, I don't know what you would consider it. I don't think it's point and click necessarily, but like, it's like kind of similar to that, if that makes sense. It's like, it's a 3D kind of world, but, yeah, I don't know how to explain the actual, like, gameplay aspect of it, but it's an action-adventure game where you're in a super surreal, dreamy kind of world, and it's filled with music, and there's these little, like, shadow monster creatures that are going after you, and there's a big, long narrative with it. There's lots and lots of puzzles that you have to go through, while also, you know, fighting and avoiding the enemies and stuff that are there. And you're basically exploring through different sides of, I believe, his mind, and he's trying to kind of become this courageous person while he's in this little dream world take place. That one is normally $20, but it's on sale right now for $4. Then we have Find Love or Die Trying, and this is an Otome game, but it's, well, a dating sim. I'm honestly not super sure what the difference is, not gonna lie, but it's a dating sim visual novel, and instead of it being your regular people that you're trying to fall in love with, you're trying to fall in love with serial killers, but they're just like, they aren't necessarily like horrifying characters. Like they are, like, they're definitely dangerous, like, killer people, but they're not like your average, like, masked man in a black suit trying to, like, murder people. These are like just normal cute little anime girls on the outside, but they're actually like serial killers. And so you're trying to romance them, or I guess die. those are your options. You either love them or you die. That one is free to play too. Next there is Find Someone Else. It's a visual novel about how relationships change and how people deal with loss and grief. So I think there's like 3 characters in it, and it's a visual novel while you're trying to, oh no, it's just one character, but there are other ones, but you just play as one protagonist, and you're trying to cope with someone that you may lose soon to an illness. So it seems very story driven, and it's free to play. Next we have Finding Paradise, and I believe this was made by the people who made To the Moon as well. This is a story-driven RPG game, and it's based on 2 doctors who are traveling back through a dying man's memories, and you're trying to fulfill his last wish. So you're going through his memories to kind of do something for him before he dies, and you are the 2 doctors that are treating him. That's who you're playing as. Beautiful graphics, as always, from this developer. And the game is $10. Then we have First Snow, and First Snow is a GL game, I believe, where there's this college girl, and she moves away to attend school. So she is meeting new people, and she's dealing with day-to-day kind of slice-of-life stuff. It's a visual novel, and the romance is between her and another girl. I don't know if there might be multiple love interests, but I know for sure that there's at least one of them. She might be able to romance multiples, but I know for a fact that there's like one at least. So it's a romance game. It's a romance visual novel. We have Five Nights at Freddy's. We also have the other Five Nights at Freddy's games. If you don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, then I think you may be living under a rock. but in case you don't, Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror game where you play as a security guard at a children's play place with animatronics who are out to kill you. So you have to take a hold of the cameras. In some games you have to do tasks and figure out, you know, how to do certain puzzles and stuff. But for the most part, it's a jump scare based game where you're trying to survive the night. We have the first one on Steam, and then we have Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, also on Steam, and then we want to get the other ones, but we have played through 1 through Sister Location. We've played through 1 through 6, so, well, 1 through 5, technically. No, 1 through 6, because Pizzeria Simulator is 6th, so yeah, 1 through 6th we've already played through, but we will be playing through them on the channel. I know Bun actually played through the first one recently, and then at the end of this week, Addie will be finishing up with the 6th night and some of the customs. Then we have Flesh Water, which is a horror RPG game. Oh no, it's not a horror RPG game, it's a horror, like, scroller. And so you are a worker for a pet feeding service. However, your client has a monster thing for a pet. So you have to try and not make mistakes while caregiving for this person's monster for your job. And that one is free to play. I don't know what all the Five Nights at Freddy's games cost. I think they're like $5 to $8 respectively. There's so many of them, guys. So I'm not gonna go through and look up all the prices for those ones, but they're like, most of them I believe are $5 to $8. I know Security Breach and Help Wanted might be a little more because they're virtual reality, but those ones are on like PlayStation and stuff. Then we have Fluffy Store, and this is a casual visual novel game where I believe you work at a little convenience store with these girls, and so there's 3 of them, and they all work together. I believe they might be having a sleepover or something, and so you're kind of just playing through their little slice of life thing. And so, let me see real quick. I know you play as a guy, like the girls are your co-workers. So yeah, they're college students, and so a string of mystery chimes and changes the situation. So, okay, these girls are not his co-workers. I messed up on that, sorry. These girls are just kind of show up in his life, and he accepts them and he hires them at his store. So they are your employees, not your coworkers, but also kind of coworkers. You're very bad at running your store, and so it's very adventurous and slice of life. There's some humor in there. I think there might be a little bit of romance and stuff. I think you're able to romance the girls, but I'm not positive about that. I think so. I mean, it's very much set up as like a harem type situation, right? But I think it mostly focuses on like the comedy and the slice of life and stuff like that. Then there's Fragile, and Fragile is, oh wait, hold on. I did not say how much Fluffy that one costs. Okay, so Fluffy Store costs $2 normally. Right now it's on sale for 60 cents. So, yeah. Getting back to Fragile, I have said that differently every single time, and I don't know why. Fragile. Okay, sorry about that. Fragile is a game where a girl is brought into human trafficking, and she's kidnapped, obviously. You play as a little girl. She's like probably like 10-ish, and so she gets abducted, and she has to try and escape from the situation that she's in. And it's very scary, very dark. I know it has a lot of dark themes in it, but it tells a very important kind of horrifying dark story. I think she also has like a companion that she's trying to help and get out with. There might be like another person who is trying to escape with her. And so this one is $10 on Steam. Then we have Frambo, and we have played all the way through Frambo. We got all the achievements on it too. We really played through Frambo. And so Frambo is a point-and-click horror game where there's this girl and she's at a mental institution. Her parents have died, and her doctors and stuff make her take medication for her supposed mental illness. However, Fran believes that the things that she sees when she's not taking her pills are real. And so it's kind of this mystery for the player where is the real world, like where she's taking her medication, is that what's actually happening? Or is it real when she's not taking her medication? And so she's trying to escape from this place and find out if what around her is real or what is fake, as well as the mystery of her parents' death. She's also trying to find her cat. She's trying to find her cat, Mr. Midnight, in a big chunk of this. But, so her cat is a big part of it as well. This game is for $15 on Steam. Then we have Friendly Fire, which is a platformer game where you play as just like this guy, and you're trying to save the world from this unknown kind of destiny issue thing. And so it's like this magical little mystery kind of world where you're meeting different characters, and it's pixel art based, and it looks very cute. Not necessarily cute, but it's very like cozy and pixelated, even though the game is about obviously like saving the world that you're in. That one is, I believe, free. Yes, it's free. Then we have Frio, and we have Frio 1, 2, and 3. So I'll tell you what each one of them are about and their prices. Frio is a horror adventure game, I know that, and it's a 3D kind of game, and I believe it's first person. Yeah, it is first person, I think. I don't know, I can't tell. I can't tell if it's third or first person, but it's in this like Japanese kind of anime type style, and you're a girl who is trying to escape from this like decaying town with ghosts and spirits, and it's deserted, and you are the only sister left of this pair of sisters, so you're the only one here anymore, and you're trying to escape and figure out how to decipher the clues and survive, basically, in this deserted place. There's also Frio 2, which is a sequel that has a little bit more of things, but I'm not sure what the sequel is. I don't want to read too much into it, like, just for myself either, but Frio 2 is a sequel, and Frio 3 is a sequel to that one, I believe. Yes, it's the final sequel. All of these games are no longer on Steam, so you can't buy them anymore. I don't know if you can get them somewhere. Kind of lucked out and got them before they went off, so I will still be able to play them and everything for you, but unfortunately they're not for sale anymore, on Steam at least. Then we have Fujiwara Bittersweet, I think that's how you pronounce the first part. And so you are playing as this girl, and she has, it's like a little bittersweet life. The art style is extremely cute in this one. And it's a visual novel, a tome kind of game, where you make choices and that kind of stuff. And so it's listed as being super cute, and I believe there are multiple routes. Yes, there are multiple routes with different characters that you kind of try to fall in love with. And so there's girls and there's guys. So that's cool. I think there's girls and guys, maybe. Possibly. That, or there's just some really feminine looking guys there. There might be. They might just be femboys, I don't know. But yeah, it's a little dating simulator, and it's very cute. It has really nice graphics, and it's free to play. Alright, quickly check chat. And goodbye, Jay! I hope you sleep well. Okay, now we can get to the G's. So we have Garden of Oblivion, which is a short point-and-click game, and it's about a teenager who is trapped in this kind of dreamlike world, and it's a garden, and they're trying to escape it, basically, is all that it is. And it's a free-to-play game, I think. Yes, it's free-to-play. And so you wake up in this garden, and you just... It's kind of like one of those escape games that you used to play like when you were a kid, but obviously it's for older people. It's basically just an escape game in this little magical little garden place with animal characters and stuff that you get to talk to. Then there's Gibbous, which is a Cthulhu adventure, so it's based on Lovecraftian things. You are playing as just this normal dude, but he meets a talking cat. His talking cat takes you on this big long adventure where you're going through this Lovecraftian inspired world and you're unraveling the mysteries and conspiracies. I know there's a lot of comedy in it, and obviously it's also cosmic horror because that is what Lovecraftian is all about. You're trying to not get caught by cultists and stuff that worship the monster that's in this. So yeah, it seems very interesting, and it is $20. There's also a deluxe edition that's $24, but I think, yeah, that comes with like the art book and the soundtrack and stuff. It's not like an extra, it's not like extra stuff with it. Then there's Ginkgo, which is, it's a 3D, I believe it's first person, and it's a horror game that is inspired by some East Asian horror elements. You have this magic needle, and you have to kind of sew parts of the world together to solve puzzles, and you have to use your threads to get to different places and stuff like that. You have to solve puzzles, and you have to outsmart like the monsters and stuff that are after you as you explore this kind of interesting little world. And this is also free. Then we have GNOG, I'm just gonna pronounce it like that, and we've already played this on our channel, JB played it, and it's a 3D puzzle game where you have to click through these little monster-inspired boxes that you can open up. Like, there's a bunch of puzzles on them. They're each themed after something different. Like, one is baby birds, one is a submarine, one is like a thief breaking into an apartment complex. It's very interestingly styled, and there's a lot of like lo-fi music, and the music plays a big part in the game, so we do recommend that one. It's a very nice one. It's $10. Then we have Goodnight Lily, and Goodnight Lily is a platformer game where you're playing as this girl who's trying to find her way home while she is kind of being chased by monsters and stuff, like, but they're coming from her dreams. So she's being chased by her nightmares, and she's trying to get out of them. And so basically what you have to do is follow like the lighted up areas, and those are like safe areas, and you have to try to get through those. And this game is free. Then we have Gray Fox, and this is another RPG Maker game. It's adventure-based, and you play as this person who just got here, and there's a very dark secret involved with this town. So you're trying to kind of figure out what's going on, and then you start waking up as different people, and you kind of learn about their lives and try to uncover the mysteries that are happening there. This game is $2. Then we have Grimm's Hollow, which is an RPG game, and you play as, I believe, like a little Reaper guy. Yes, you are a little Reaper, and you have been transported to the afterlife after you die. So you meet up with these other Reapers, and you are trying to find your brother in this little afterlife world, and you have to reap, like, the bad ghosts and stuff that are around you, and that kind of thing. And it's free to play, and it has actual, like, RPG elements in it. Garobu is the next one, and this one is a horror RPG again. Or it might actually just be 2D. Yeah, it's actually just 2D. Sorry, it's not an RPG, it's 2D. And so it's about this apartment complex that is haunted, and there's ghosts and a murder mystery involved. So you're trying to figure out kind of what's going on in this haunted place. And this one is $2. Then we have Harvest Island, and we only have the demo for this, which is Harvest Island Beginnings. This is free to play, and Harvest Island, the actual game, will be available later this year, so it hasn't even come out yet. This is the demo version, and you live on this... It's an RPG game, and you live on an island where I believe you're with your brother. I believe you are, like, in a native island with your brother, and you have to... The world, it's very mysterious and story-rich, so the place that you refer to as your home has a lot of secrets and stuff around it. I'm not sure if they're necessarily horrifying secrets, but there is definitely something going on that isn't right, and it kind of goes along with that. I know there is some, like, scary stuff, but I'm not sure if they consider it an actual horror game or not. Obviously, we haven't played it, so. The demo is free. I'm not sure how expensive the actual game will be, because it's coming out later. Then we have Haunt the House Terror Town, where you play as this little ghost, and you're going through a town and different areas, and your job is to scare people. So it's a puzzle game. You have to interact with the environment around you and figure out how to scare everybody that's in the place. So there's a train, I think there's like a hotel maybe, and different kinds of places where you're trying to interact with your environment to scare people, basically. And it's very cute. It's not like an actual scary game. You're just playing as this cute little, like, pixel, not pixel, but like a cartoony little ghost guy that's trying to scare people. That one is $5. Then we have Haunted Hell House, and this one is another horror RPG game. It is free to play, and it's about this guy. He goes into a haunted house, I believe, and so there's a lot of gimmicks and evil people, and you're trying to get keys to escape the little haunted house. I'm not sure if they mean haunted house as in, like, a haunted house for Halloween, because that's what it looks like at first. But then in other things, they kind of call it a haunted mansion, so I don't know if that's, like, just a translation thing, but I think it's supposed to be, like, a actual, like, haunted house facility place, because that's what it shows in the trailer. Then we have He Needs His Medicine, which is you get dispatched for a 911 call, and there's a guy there who is mentally ill. There's something very wrong there, and he is supposed to be getting medicine, I guess. But I think that's more of a metaphor. I think this guy is just very bad, but you are trying to make medicine for him. So it's very surreal. It is a 2D game where it's just like not necessarily a platformer, but where you're like side-scrolling. So it's horror, obviously, if you couldn't tell that by the description. I believe that one might be free, but I'm not positive. Yes, it's free. Then we have Hello Charlotte, and I believe there's multiple things of this. Yes, there's multiple episodes for Hello Charlotte. The first and second episodes are free. I'm not sure if there are other ones, but the first and second episode are completely free. They are about they're kind of a representation of happiness and stuff that never was and that kind of stuff, but it's kind of darker, if that makes sense. It's about her life, and so each of them are a different story, though. They are all about Charlotte, this girl, but the different episodes are kind of different. So, episode 1 is about, it's a memory of these gods and that have kind of disappeared. They were forgotten a long time ago, and then like losing individuality, and your little friend goes missing, so you have to try and find him. Then the second one is kind of the impossibility of everyone being happy and kind of idolizing people that aren't in our lives. So there's a lot of like deeper stuff in it. Episode 3, so there is a third one, is a prologue and an epilogue to the main plot. So it kind of takes on an even more surreal kind of thing because it's before and after. They also have a spin-off minigame which is made to test some features, so you can just like play that out. I believe all of them are free since the first and second one are, and I know obviously the minigame should be free. I'm not sure about the other ones though. I'm not sure about the third one, so have to look into that. Then we have Honkai Impact, and so that one is, I believe it's made by it's made by the same people who made Genshin, but it's more sci-fi based. It's not like fantasy. I mean, there are fantasy elements, but it's more like this action RPG with sci-fi and that kind of stuff. So it's like Genshin, but if you put it in this sci-fi world, and obviously there's a different story and stuff with it. That is free, by the way. I mean, technically it's free. You can make purchases on it, I believe. Then we have Hustle Cat, and Hustle Cat is a very cute looking game. So you are an employee at this place called A Cat's Paw, and it's a little cafe with cats in it, and the staff is friendly and you kind of have a crush on one of them, and then you find this book in the basement and it has like a language that you can't read, and so it's very mysterious. It's a visual novel, and there's obviously, as I mentioned, there's a crush and stuff involved, so there's some romance, dating sim stuff to be found. But there's also that secret mystery element to it. This one is $20. Then we have I Wish It Was Morning All the Time, which is, it looks cute, but it's not cute. So you are playing as like an anthropomorphic character. I'm not exactly sure what the animals are. But you are playing as an anthro character, and you are sisters, and you're being chased by these guys, and you go into an abandoned house. So you have to try and help these sisters survive, and while also like, I don't know if you're necessarily escaping or if you're like boarding yourself up in this abandoned warehouse, but you're basically just trying to protect these sisters from the men that are after them. And this is a free-to-play game. The style and everything looks very cute, but I know obviously it's horror and there's some gore and stuff involved, so don't get too caught up in the cute graphics. Then we have Inner Voices, and Inner Voices is a dark adventure game. It's non-linear, and so I know it says it's inspired by H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe. You're basically going through this maze of different rooms and stuff to solve the mystery, and it has links to your past and what has happened before, and so you're kind of figuring things out all in a different order, because it is randomly generated. I know the rooms, it's not randomly generated, it's like procedurally generated, so like, I believe it means like they're all like, the rooms and stuff aren't random. The rooms have all been, like, programmed and stuff, but you get them at different orders, if that makes sense. I believe that's how that works. I might be wrong about that, but I believe that's how this one works. That's why it's called non-linear, you know. It is $10, and obviously it's horror and mystery and Lovecraftian stuff. Then there's Eno, which is a horror RPG maker game. This one is about two classmates. Their names are Cade and I'm honestly not sure how to pronounce their names. But they're two classmates, and they get involved with this creepy girl named Eno. And then they end up, I believe, it starts with them on an elevator or something. But they're kind of trying to escape from this girl, Eno, and also at the same time figure out her background and kind of who she is and what's going on in this world. I believe it takes place in the school, but I'm not positive about that. It might not. But they are classmates, so it might take place in their school, it might take place somewhere else, but they're together and they're classmates and they're trying to figure out what's going on. That one, I believe, is another free-to-play game. No, it's not. Sorry. It's $2 though, so fairly inexpensive, but not free. Then there is Iris Fall, and Iris Fall is a puzzle adventure game where you play as this girl in this dark, kind of grayed out world. It is a 3D game, and there's like a theme of light and darkness, and so you're trying to solve all these different puzzles and stuff. I think you're trying to escape the world as well. Yes, it's like a mystery, and it's like monochrome and stuff. Yes, so she wakes up from a dream, and she follows a cat into an old theater. And so she's traveling through this theater and trying to figure out how it kind of relates to herself, because as she goes on, she realizes that she is somehow connected to this theater. This one is $15. And hold on a minute, I'm just gonna check. I'm checking something real quick. Okay. Once I get to M, I'm gonna go ahead and stop. So this is gonna be a two-parter, because this is going on for a lot longer than I actually thought it was, and my voice is starting to hurt again. So yeah, we'll probably split it up once I get to the letter M, and then we'll do N through Z, and maybe even make a third stream for the other games, like the PC games and that kind of stuff, depending, again, on how long each one takes us. So I'm going to get a drink, and then we'll start on the J's. Okay. So this next one is called Johnny Mystery and the Halloween Killer. It is a kind of visual novel detective game. You're playing as Johnny Mystery, who is the detective, and he finds this girl who is trying to escape from the police. So then that kind of leads him into trying to unravel this murder mystery that happened during a school Halloween party. So he has to investigate and interview people and try and figure out the clues and piece together who the killer is and what happened. That one is $1 on Steam. Then we have Just Ignore Them, which I watched someone play through this a long time ago. It's another RPG horror game, and you're playing as this kid who, I believe he was left alone, and he is being like followed around and kind of tormented by these monsters who are in his house. So he's trying to survive through the night while figuring out what's happening and night as the kid who's being hunted down. The game is normally $4, but is on sale right now for it, and I watched someone play through the original version of this one, again, a long time ago. And this is a game where a man named Jonas he's an alcoholic, and he's depressed, and he's dealing with grief, I believe, over his wife, but he might be dealing with the loss of someone else. But I believe, if I remember correctly, he lost his wife. And so, one night he wakes up, and he goes outside, and he is in this shadowy kind of mirror world, where there's a lot of monsters and stuff that are all around, and so he has to be able to actually face and communicate with these scary, horrifying creatures to be able to learn the truth about the world that he's in, as well as get back home and get out of the mirror world. And this game is $2. Then we have Keepers of the Trees, and this is a cute little co-op, a 3D platformer. I believe there's 2 characters. Yes, it's 2 people, so 2 people play this one. And it's a platforming 3D game where you have to solve puzzles and grow plants and explore this little fantasy world. I believe that you are, like, as they said, keepers of the trees, so you're like little creatures that like keep the forest. And I'm not exactly sure what the story is. I know it's very chill. It's cooperative, so you're not like going against each other, and you are basically just exploring for the most part, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't say much about the story. They do find a discovery, and I guess they're like exploring a part of the forest that they've never seen before. So they're trying to reach their destination as well as learn about these new parts of the forest that they haven't seen yet. That one is free to play, by the way. I believe it might be early access too. No, it's not early access. It was early access just a little bit ago though, because we got it kind of recently. Excuse me. Now we have Kidnapped, and Kidnapped is a psychological horror game where you are, obviously you get kidnapped, and you find yourself in this super old manor, and there's like, after you get out of the manor, there's other places, like there's a forest, there's some caves and stuff, and you have to do puzzles and that kind of thing to get out of it. It's also an FPS game, I believe. That's what it's listed. It's listed under FPS, but I don't know how that comes into play. But I know you, like, have to combat, like, the monsters and the evil people that you see there, I guess. And there's also some sci-fi elements, science fiction. So that's adds an interesting bit of it as someone who was just like kidnapped, and you are kind of trying to figure out what happened, I guess. What happened, like how you were kidnapped and why you're there and all that stuff. Then there is a game called, oh wait, I need to remember to keep saying the prices on these. I mess up a little bit. Kidnapped is $3, so. Then we have Kill or Love. This is what we did. Not Kill or Love. Kill or Love. It's a visual novel about, like, obsession and loneliness. Depending on your choices, there's murder. You're basically somebody who is, your girlfriend is kidnapped, and so you are trying to escape this woman she's kidnapped your girlfriend and she's kept you captive, and so you're trying to save your girlfriend and also, like, figure out things about Anna. And so at the same time though, there's like things with you being a murderer and stuff. I don't know if that necessarily means like he wants to kill the girl who's obsessed with him. But yeah, it's basically like you're trying to escape a yandere girl, and it's free to play. It's also a visual novel, if I didn't mention that already. Then we have Kind Words, and Kind Words it's a game that you play with other people, but it's not really a game, if that makes sense. So basically, you can write anonymous letters and you post them there, and it's kind of about mental health and human experience and relating to people and giving advice and getting advice, and sometimes people will talk about like rough times that they're going through, and so it's just this anonymous community where everybody helps each other. I believe they kind of monitor things and make sure that nothing too triggering gets put out there, or like sexual content and stuff like that, but I've never run across it anyway. You also get to collect these stickers, so when you're sending your little letters, people can send letters back to you in response to them, and or vice versa, you can respond to other people's letters, and you can send each other stickers and stuff. So these stickers make up your environment, so you get other little cute things to put in the different little houses and rooms that you can collect. It's 3D and it's very cute. It has very cute, cozy little vibes to it. There's lo-fi that plays in the background the whole time, and it is free, I think. No, it's not free. Sorry, it's $5. It's $5. I believe it used to be free. It might have used to be free. But yeah, it's $5. I used to play this a lot, a while back. So yeah, it's a very cool game. If you're interested in helping other people and getting help and kind of having a space to vent, even if it's anonymous, it's a very nice way to go about things. Then we have Kindergarten, and Kindergarten is this horrible little game, but it's also comedic. And so you play as this character, this little pixel character, and you are a kindergartner at a school. But this school is terrible. Your classmates are horrible, your teachers are horrible, there's like a bunch of secrets and stuff going on, and you're trying not to die, basically. And there's so many different storylines that you can go through. Like, you can go through different storylines with different teachers, different staff members, different kids in your thing. So there's a lot of different quests that you can do, and different storylines to go on through. So it's very interesting. I've watched some people play some of the storylines, but I haven't actually played it myself. And it's $5. There's also a sequel, but the sequel's on our wish list. We don't have that one yet. Then we have Kanoko, and this is it's like a third-person game where you are, I believe you are someone who, you're kind of like melting winter, if that makes sense. Yeah, you are this little like forest spirit, and so yeah, you're clearing the world of winter, so you're bringing spring to this pretty little short world. It's third person and it's free. Then we've got Knock Harder, and Knock Harder is a click and point game. It's a 2D kind of RPG style stuff. I think it's point and click. Yeah, it's point and click, but it has RPG elements and stuff to it. So you are trying to wake up from, well, you're in this thing that you don't know if it's a dream or not, but you want to wake up. So you like go back and forth between dreams and reality. And if you're in a dream, you have to die to be able to wake up. But you don't want to die when it's reality, and you don't know the difference between the two. So you have to try and figure things out while also defending yourself against monsters and figuring things out and that kind of thing. This game is $10. Then we have Lait, which is a RPG game again, and it's a world where dragons are born with from different desires of mankind, and so this dragon has the power of eating lies. The one that technically you're like a mysterious stranger, but you travel this land and you are accompanied by this little dragon that can eat lies. This little dragon girl, I should say. She has a humanoid form. She's not just like a dragon. But yeah, and you use the power to kind of go along and talk about strangers, you figure out secrets and figure out lies. You meet a lot of different people, and you're looking on events in the past and kind of seeing how you get to be a person. This one has multiple chapters, I believe, and it is $3. Then we have Lily's Well, and Lily's Well is a horror game. It's an RPG game again. It has these very bright neon cartoony kind of graphics. And so you are playing as a girl named Lily. She was left home alone after her dad took her to bed, but she wakes up hearing someone crying from the well outside of her window. So she has to kind of gather things and try and save whoever is trapped below, while also going through this little horrifying puzzle world. This one is free to play. Then we have Limbus Company, and Limbus Company is where you lead a group of 12 sinners in this old, like, these old buried facility places. You're trying to find a treasure down there, basically. You're trying to, like, claim it for your own. But as you're going through these facilities and stuff, there's a lot of monsters and stuff. It's very RPG driven, and yeah, you're just kind of trying to get through that. There's also other characters, like other human characters that you have to go against too, that are also trying to claim the treasure for themselves. Then we have Little Nightmares, and we don't have the second one yet, but we do have the first. We have, so Little Nightmares is a game that we've already played through completely. It's a game where you play as this little tiny character, and she just has this little raincoat, and she's tiny, and she's trying to escape from this place called the Maw. And so it's this huge vessel, and it has a bunch of corrupted souls and evil people and monsters, and they're trying to essentially eat her, and she is trying to escape from this place. So it is 3D kind of style graphics, 3D platformer, I think is what it would be considered, and it's scary, but it's very good. It has a lot of, like, dark fantasy kind of elements and stuff to it too. And this one is $20, but I know it's also on other platforms, in case you would rather that. Personally, I've been told that the PlayStation, using PlayStation to play it rather than computer is a little easier, but I played it on computer, so it wasn't that terrible. I mean, control-wise, wasn't that terrible. It's a very good game, but control-wise, it wasn't that bad. At least I didn't think so. So then we have Locked, which has the D in parentheses, is the difference with this one. It is a short visual novel. It's kind of philosophical, and you're having a conversation with this girl, and that's pretty much it. You wake up, and you're sitting across from her, and so you have to talk with her. For the visual novel, that's literally like the only thing that you do is hold this conversation with her. And this game is free. So then we have Locked without the parentheses, so it's just Locked. And so it's this guy, he's looking for a waitress, and he hasn't seen her in a long time. So he's like a regular at this restaurant, and a waitress goes missing. And so he goes to a mansion, just based on like his feelings and stuff, I guess. And so this mysterious mansion is the main place of this game. So he has to try and go in there to save this girl, this waitress, from all the things that are happening there. And it's not super horror based, it's mostly mystery from what I can tell. And so there's also like a little bit of romance between him and the waitress, and he's basically just trying to find her and be able to figure out the mysteries that are lurking in this mansion. And it is $2. Then we have Lorelei, and Lorelei is another horror game. It is, you play as this woman who basically everything that she has was taken away from her. I believe it's point and click, and she is basically just like refusing to give up what was taken from her. So she is trying to get back what she has lost in this horrifying world, and basically like she's trying to also escape what has happened to her in the past while trying to make things right and find what she's looking for. And this game is $10. Then we have Lucid Dream, and Lucid Dream is a game where it's an RPG maker game, I think. No, it's not. It's a point-and-click game. It's a point-and-click game, and it's horror, and you're playing as this girl who is trapped in this weird place, and so she's trying to collect items and find clues to escape and essentially wake up from a bad dream. And this game is free. Then we have Luna, and Luna is an RPG horror game, and you're trying to survive, and you play as this little girl named Luna. She's trying to survive at night and also kind of discover the secrets around her. So she's going through her memories, and she's trying to survive them while also remembering them and figuring out the secrets and stuff that are in her mind. So she's trying to figure out like some dark truths and some lies and stuff like that. This game is free. Well, the version that we have is free. There's also a Steam Edition version that is $1. So not a big price difference. Then finally, we have Lurk in the Dark Prologue, and this is about a town. It's like a little mining town, and people do a lot of woodworking and mining and coal kind of stuff. So this is a town and a big time family that was kind of a part of the town's founding and contributed to its development. A tragedy happens. So this place that you're exploring is where the bad things happen to this family. And I believe you're trying to kind of figure it out. Yes, it's story-based, it's horror, it's FPS, and so, yeah, there's crime and stuff too, but okay. So yeah, so the police station gets notified of the tragedy of the family place, and so you're an officer, and so you go to the scene of the case, and so you have to try and find out what happened to them, I guess. So there's also like another one. This is the prologue. So this is the prologue to one of them, because there's a second one that is about a guy named Jack who sneaks into wealthy homes to like steal stuff, and he goes into the residence that has the bad stuff that happened there. He goes into that residence, and so he goes into there and he finds a file that is kind of tied into his past, and it's also about the old resident that happened with the tragedies and stuff, so it's a little convoluted. There's a couple different ones. We'll have to check out the other ones probably too, but the demo is free to play. For the other ones, let me see if they're listed. Let's see. click on the developer. So yeah, they have Lurk in the Dark Prologue. And Lurk in the Dark Shot the World. Oh, which is like a camera game. So I don't... The prologue came out in 2019. So maybe the prologue is just the normal episode then. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it more. And so that is the end of ours, I believe, yes. This is the end up until the letter M's. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, and we will continue the M's in another stream. I'm not sure if it'll be me or if one of the other headmates will take over on doing that, but I hope you enjoyed, maybe got some recommendations and stuff that for games that you might have been interested in that you didn't know about, and also kind of have a better idea of the types of games that we'll be playing in the future. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna head off now. See ya!